Now let's look at increasing interactivity of your app. This matters tremendously for Facebook because that's what Facebook is all about, interactivity. You've seen how to create pics, how to generate items for the news feed, and that's a certain amount of interactivity right there. Creating pics requires a certain amount of effort. You have to type in the name and the address and so forth. Once you've done that, however, we leverage the power of Facebook to generate the news feed item that goes into your news feed and that can go to your friends' news feeds as well. So a little bit of work for you, but then it's leveraged very strongly. Everything that you do that is simple for users, such as not having to do anything, is powerful and useful because it generates more interactions on Facebook that people can share, and that's the name of the game. Now, what I'm going to do is to walk you through some of the additional interactive components of Facebook, and we'll see how to implement them in this section. What we know is that people have really three levels of intensity of interaction with Facebook. The most intense level, unless you're going to write Facebook code yourself, the most intense level of interaction is what you're doing now, writing an app for Facebook, because you get really into Facebook, looking at the possibilities, and you have to understand not only the subject matter that you're dealing with, but the people that you're programming for, so that you can give them the best possible experience. That's a fairly high level of interaction with Facebook. A secondary level, a little less intense than developing your own app, is using an app to create data. For example, to create a cause on the Causes app, or to create a pic on one of the Pics apps. Adding photos, creating a group. All of those things require just a little bit of effort. Not much, but just a little bit. Then the third level, even less involving and less difficult, is all of the interactions that you can do with the click of a mouse. And that's really important because it affects everyone. If you're developing an app, you want to put in those little mouse click things like sharing that require only perhaps one additional mouse click, or maybe typing in a few words of explanation. Anything like that leverages the power of those other two levels. It leverages the power of the people who have entered data, and it leverages the power of the app. And then turning around and looking at it from the other point of view, when you develop your app, you want to make it possible for people to have these two levels of interaction, that is, entering data and not making it onerous, and one-click interactions to further the interactivity and the viral nature of the data. So it all is intertwined, and in this section we're going to look at these one-click or one-click and a few keystrokes interactions that build on the app and the data. And what I can do here is an item in a news feed that I created when I was testing. And I shared it. It says test share because I was testing at the time. And I can click on this link, and what I'm going to do now is to go directly into the app and to the particular item that I wanted to share. Because as you can see in the full app, we have the ability to let friends know about it, share it, and to report if there are problems with it. Anytime you are collecting data from users, unless you are going to moderate every single component that is generated by users, you need an ability for people to be your eyes and ears and to say, there's something wrong with this data. So that's what we're going to look at in this section, and let's take a little look further at some of the details of the interactivity before we look at the code.